Hello and welcome to a Broadway Family Karate video tutorial guide. Today's lesson will cover our black belt material for our A day. This will be a little different than what we've done in the past. We are actually going to have A and B day black belt lessons. So today we'll be focusing on our A day material, which will cover the pattern Po-Eun Hyung. We're going to start by looking at our set pattern. It's going to be Po-Eun Hyung. Today we'll be naming the techniques and the stances. So we're going to go through the pattern several times. The first time we're going to name the techniques in the pattern. The second time through we're going to name the stances. And the third time through we're going to put both of them together. So before we start, let's go ahead and do a quick intro and review on our stances in this pattern. Some of these stances are old standbys that you guys have seen a lot. Some of them are more rare, but most of these you have seen in some form or another. So we're going to go ahead and begin by looking at our ready stance, which is actually unique to this pattern. It is a parallel ready stance, so we are going to go ahead and start with our feet parallel apart. But this parallel ready stance, instead of just having your hands in front, twin arc hands high. So your hands are actually going to form a diamond, okay, above your head, and you're actually looking through the diamond as you begin the pattern. So, parallel ready stance, twin arc hands high. That is going to be our ready stance. The next thing we will look at will be our L stance. So we're going to go ahead. This is a favorite that you guys have seen this one before. Feet L shape, heels on the same line, and most of your weight on the back leg. You'll see this a couple times through the pattern. Okay, and on the other side, most of your weight on the back leg. Just keep that L shape. You want to make sure that you do have a good L shape in this pattern because you want to make sure that you can tell the difference between this and the other stances you'll see, the horse stance. Now, the horse stance is what you will actually encounter in this pattern the most. So we're going to go ahead, get down into a horse stance, feet at least time and a half shoulder width, knees bent, okay, back up nice and straight. So on the side you can see everything's nice and straight. I'm not leaning forward, not leaning back, sitting down in the stance. You should feel your legs working. The majority of this pattern is done in the horse stance. We're actually not moving, we're staying right where we're at. So as you begin the pattern, make sure you're in a really good horse stance. You're going to be here for a while. Okay, a few of the other stances that you will see. The first one is going to be the one-legged stance, the one-legged stance. You've seen this in the other patterns with wave kicks. So it's actually going to be the exact same thing. In the pattern, we're actually coming here for a chamber for our side kick low, and then we're going to return back to the one-leg stance. So basically in this, you want that supporting leg bent a little, and your other leg just up against the side of your knee. I find it helps me with balance if I keep this other leg bent. Okay? It's nice and straight, it's really hard to maintain your balance. Now for when we're actually using this, here, kick, back here, and then we're going to sit down into that horse stance. So on the same side, on the other side, it's the same thing. Coming to the one-leg stance, kicking, coming back to the one-leg stance, and we're going to sit down into the horse stance. Okay, the next stance, X stance. You do see this in some of the other patterns. We're going to go ahead and start by going to our left. So we're going to be going to our left. So our right leg is going to cross in front on the balls of our feet. Okay, most of our weight is on our back leg. We do have that leg bent, and our legs are touching. Okay, if you're up straight, it's going to be really hard to maintain your balance. Cross those legs, bend that knee. Just kind of sit down in the stance. Okay, so in this direction, the leg is going to cross in front on the balls of your feet, sitting down, also known as a crane stance. Okay, So going the other way, if I'm going to my right, okay, left leg crosses in front, I just sit down in that stance. Okay, notice I'm on the balls of my feet. Okay, most of my weight is on my back leg. Okay, and then the last stance you will see, and you encounter this sometimes as a ready stance, sometimes you'll see it in the middle of the pattern. It's basically just closed stance, feet are together, standing up nice and straight. Sometimes you'll see it as a ready stance, sometimes you'll see it in the middle of a pattern. So those are the 6 stances you will find in Po-Eun Hyung. Now you will notice that probably the stance that we use most often in Taekwondo, front stance, don't see it in this pattern, okay? Not at all. Okay, so we're going to run through Po-Eun Hyung. First time through, we're going to go ahead and we're going to name the technique, so we're going to go nice and slow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start off. Twin arch hands high. Okay, Po-Eun Hyung, naming techniques, and begin. Double fist block, distract, side kick low, horizontal knife hand strike, horizontal punch. Low block, inner forearm block combination, low block, inner forearm block combination, wedging block, trap, pull in, punch, trap, pull in, twin horizontal punch, fingertip trap, C block, twin horizontal elbow strike, low block back fist combination, hammer fist strike low, double ridge hand block low. Second half, double fist block, distract, side kick low, horizontal knife hand strike, horizontal punch, low block inner forearm block combination, low block inner forearm block combination, wedging block, trap, pull in, punch, trap, pull in, twin horizontal punch, fingertip trap, C block, twin horizontal elbow strike, low block back fist combination, hammer fist strike low, twin ridge hand block low, double ridge hand block low. Okay, those are the names of the techniques in Po-Eun Hyung. We're going to go ahead and look through the stances. Now what you will notice, at the beginning of this pattern, halfway through the pattern, you're going to be in a horse stance. You're going to be there a while. Make sure you're in a nice horse stance. Go ahead and sit down in it. You're going to be here a little while. Okay. Po-Eun Hyung, naming stances. Twin arc hands high, or parallel ready stance, twin arc hands high. L stance, one leg stance, back to one leg stance, horse stance, staying in that horse stance, okay. Remain in the horse stance, okay. Staying in that horse stance, okay. Finishing up in the horse stance, okay. X stance, L stance, close stance, watch this one's tricky, horse stance, X stance, L stance. Okay, to the other side, L stance, one leg stance, back to one leg stance, and in my horse stance. Staying in the horse stance. Okay, staying in that horse stance. Remain in your horse stance. Okay, horse stance. X stance, L stance, close stance, horse stance, X stance, finish up in our L stance. You're all ready stance? Okay, the last thing we're going to look at Po-Eun Hyung. One more time, we're gonna add the techniques and the stances names together. So we're gonna do the technique and in the stance that it is performed in. We're gonna go ahead and begin. Parallel ready stance, twin arc hands high. Double fist block from the L stance. Distract. That one leg stance. Side kick low. Bring that back to that one leg stance. Horizontal knife hand strike from your horse stance. Be here a while, make sure you're in a good horse stance. Horizontal punch from the horse stance. Low block inner forearm block combination from your horse stance. Low block inner forearm block combination from the horse stance. Wedging block from the horse stance. Trap, pull in, punch from the horse stance. Trap, pull in, twin horizontal punch from the horse stance. Okay, we're going to transition into our next stance. Fingertip trap from the X stance. C block from the L stance. Twin horizontal elbow strike from the closed stance. Watch your feet, make sure they're closed. Low block back fist combination from the horse stance. Hammer fist strike low from the X stance. Double Ridgehand block low from the L stance. I'll start the second half. We're going to go ahead and just rotate into an L stance to the other side. Double fist block from the L stance. Distract. The one leg stance. Side kick low. Back to my one leg stance. Horizontal knife hand strike from my horse stance. I'm going to be here. Make sure it's a good stance. Okay. Horizontal punch from the horse stance. Low block inner forearm block combination from the horse stance. Low block inner forearm block combination from the horse stance. Wedging block from the horse stance. Trap, pull in, punch from the horse stance. Trap, pull in, twin horizontal punch from the horse stance. Okay, we're ready to transition into our next stance. Fingertip trap from the X stance. C block from the L stance. Twin horizontal elbow strike from the closed stance. Watch your feet. Low block back fist combination from the horse stance. Hammer fist strike low from the X stance. Double ridge hand block low from your L stance. Okay, back to you ready. Twin parallel ready stance, twin arc hands high. Show your name. Okay, that is Po-Eun Hyung looking at both the names of the techniques, the names of the stances, and putting them back together. Show your name. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at for our Black Belt A lesson is going to be one of our formal hand skills. It's going to be the low fingertip trap. This is a technique I think that is unique to this pattern. I don't think we see it in any of the patterns that I've studied. So we're going to break this down. Pretty small details. It's also got, it's not out of a stance that we do not see a whole lot either, the X stance. So let's go ahead first thing and take a look at that X stance. Okay, so for the X stance, I'm going to start with just my hands on my hips. We just want to make sure we're getting our feet correct. Then we'll start adding the hand techniques in. So we're going to start by going to your left. So you're going to take your right foot, cross it in front. Right now I've got all my weight on my left leg. As I cross that in front, I'm going to go ahead and shift my leg to my front leg, and my back leg is going to come up onto the balls of my foot. Got my knees bent, my legs are crossed. Okay, so we are from here. Okay, we are moving to the left. Okay, so the right goes across. Once you transition across your leg, go ahead and shift that weight to the front. Come up on the back, bend those knees. Okay, legs should be crossed. That should give you that support. You don't want to be upright. Just kind of sit down in this stance. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the right. So we're going to take our left leg. It's going to cross in front. Right now our weight is all on our right leg. Okay, as I cross, I'm going to shift all my weight to my left leg, come up on my right leg on the balls of my feet, cross my legs, and bend my knees. I want to make sure those knees are bent. Okay? Let's go ahead and work this a little bit. So let's go ahead and go to the left. Shift that weight. Come up on your back leg. Okay. Go to the right. Cross in front. My weight is here. Shift the weight. Come up on the ball of your foot. Feet crossed. Okay? Knees bent. You want to be in a good, solid stance before you do this technique. Now in the pattern and with this strike, we're going to transition from our horse stance into our X stance. So let's go ahead and just practice that a few times. So we're going to start in our horse. Put your hands on your hips. We're going to start. We're going to go to our left step. Good. Okay. And go. Just sit down into the stance. Go the other way. We're going to go to our right. Just shift that weight. Okay. And go. Good. Okay. Next thing we're going to look at is the chamber position. If you get the chamber position correct, you will get the strike correct. So let's go ahead. I'm going to sit down into our horse stance. This is where we're going to be at as we go to our chamber. We are going, now I'm going to go ahead and what I want you guys to remember is you're looking at a mirror image of me, so it's going to look like I'm going the other direction, but I'm going to go ahead and call the direction we're going to be moving in as a pattern. Okay, so this is my right hand. It is in a fist. My left hand is crossed in front and it is open. Okay, so in the pattern, I'm going to be moving to my right. So my left leg is going to go ahead and cross in front. So this is my chamber position. Okay, so whichever side I'm going to my right hand is a fist, my left hand is open. In the second half of the pattern, when I'm going the other way, my left hand is a fist, my right hand is open in front. So whichever direction I'm going in, that's the hand that's going to be behind and in a fist. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I'm in my chamber, I'm in my horse stance. Let's go ahead and step into an X stance and just leave our hands right here. So I'm going to step, get that stance right. Okay. One more time, so back into our horse stance, and we're going to step. Good. Make sure you're in a good, stable position. Now let's go ahead and complete the technique. So we're going to start in our horse stance. We're going to step into that X. Weight is on my front leg. My back leg is up in the balls of my feet. And I'm going to bring the hands. It's going to start slow, and then it's going to move quick. Basically, my fingertips are going to end up against the inside of my wrist. Now, what you can imagine, we're going to use a padded weapon in a few moments, so I'm going to be trapping it. But you can imagine this is a bow, or a foot, and even possibly a hand. But that's our trap right here. We're going to start here, horse stance, get those hands correct. Hands are good. We're going to go ahead and keep our hands here. Get the stance. Do with the trap. It's black belt. It's not supposed to be easy. Okay? Just like that. Okay, we're going to go to my left. Okay? So that means my left hand is in a fist and it is behind. My right hand is in front and it is open. Okay, so I'm going to start with just the steps. I'm going to leave my hands in my chamber position. Get my X stance correct. Okay. Weight is on my front leg. My back leg is up on the balls. Okay, got my hands right. I'm going to go ahead and step through. Get that stance correct. Fingertip trap. One more time, starting in my horse stance. Get your stance correct. Start off slow. Move through quickly to finish. So slow, so slow, fast. Sit down in that stance. You don't want to have to be thinking about wobbling all back and forth as you're trying to complete that stance. If you're losing your balance, your feet are probably too straight, and just kind of bend your knees a little bit more. Yes? It's uncomfortable. Your legs will get strong like that. Okay, that's the basics. We're going to go ahead and work this on a target. So if you get a partner with a padded sword, we're going to stick with the padded sword. We're thinking about doing the bow, but we didn't want to show off today. So we'll probably eventually work the fingertip trapping the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start in my X stance, already here, and just come through and just practice trapping the weapon. Now you want to be careful that you're at a good distance and that I'm not having to reach way out here and break my own balance. So it's not a long-range technique. It's actually really in close. So I'm setting my X stance, and I'm just going to come through, trap it. Start off slow, and then you can just build up a little speed. Remember, my open hand is in front, closed hand is behind. Trap it against my wrist. Once you've got the technique down, go ahead and have your partner keep that right here. Take that front leg, step out into your horse stance. This leg will stay here. It's not really going to move, okay? It's going to stay right there. I should be at a good distance to my target, okay? I am moving to my right. My right hand is closed in a fist. It is behind. My left hand is open in front. Okay, I know where the target is. I've practiced the technique. I'm going to go ahead and step into my X stance and trap. Okay, start off slow. Okay, once you can put the X stance and the fingertip trap together, start building a little bit of speed. Okay. One more time. Okay, now for the challenge, we're going to have our partner shift over to the other side. We're going to go work on this side. So we're going to go ahead and start in your X stance. Okay? Right hand, left hand is open. Try. Put my hands backwards. Okay, we're not going to move. It's going to stay right here. Target's not going to move. We're just going to practice the technique. Starting off slow, building a little speed. Okay, open hand is always in front. Once we feel pretty confident with the technique, it's not pulling us off balance, we're staying nice in that X stance, we'll go and move into the technique. Okay, my left leg is going to stay right there, it's not moving. Okay, the step should give you a little bit of power. Start off nice and slow because you're going to be thinking of your feet, okay, and your hands at the same time. Good stance. Trap. Okay? Get that stance. And trap. Okay, one more time. Step. And trap. Okay. Practice the X stance. Practice the fingertip trap. Put them together. Okay, once you feel confident that you have them together, start in that horse stance. And then go ahead and step into the strike. So the step will give you good power, but you want to make sure everything else, the technique is down, the stance is down, the technique is down before you start adding power to the technique. Okay. Okay, the next formal hand skill we're going to look at is going to be the double Ridgehand block low. This is a new technique, you don't see this until the black belt level. I don't think we torture our color belts with this technique. It looks a lot like the double knife hand block, which you will confuse it with. Remember with the double knife hand block, we actually chamber into our wedge, and you'll notice that your thumbs are on the outside, and I'm blocking with my knife hand part of my hand. So my knife hand is against my body. My knife hand is doing the block. For the ridge hand, we're just flipping our hands over. Okay? It's really just that easy. You just flip your hands over from the knife hand position. Okay. Let's go ahead and we do this technique out of an L stance. We want to make sure we're in a good L stance. We don't have to think too much about our feet. Okay? Feet are in a nice L. Knees are bent. Most of my weight are on my back leg. Now, let me just quickly show you what the finished technique will look like. As you'll notice, my pinkies are on the outside. I'm blocking with the ridge hand section of my hand. So this is doing the block. My ridge hand section of my backhand is covering my solar plexus. And this is a low technique. Sometimes you'll see knife hand blocks low also. And basically I've just got an angle on both of my hands. Okay? So double ridge hand block low. Going to start, get that ridge hand position of on your hands, palm to palm, hands in front. So this is my front leg, okay? My hands are right over top. I'm going to bring them in a big arc. As I get to about this position, I'm going to go ahead and flip them both over and roll them down. So let me go ahead and do that slow. So I'm here, here, here. Okay, my hands are still palm to palm. Flip, flip. Bring them in. I really stress to just practice this technique nice and slowly until you get this down. Okay? I'm in my L stance. I'm in my ridge hand position. My fingers or both thumbs are pulled across. I'm palm to palm, up in a big sweeping arc. Okay? So I get to about 2 o'clock. Flip them down. Upside, flip them over, and flip them down. Okay, so we're going to be here. Flip. And flip. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to the other side. Okay, so we're on the other side. Got my L stance situated. Okay, ridge hands, palm to palm. Same thing, they're over my front leg. I'm going to bring them over. Okay, once I get to this position, flip them both over. Okay. Here and flip. Just like that. Okay. Set my blocking side, ridge hands. In the right direction. Just like that. So this is definitely a technique that you just have to start off nice and slow and just practice with those hands. Now, once you get the actual technique down, we're going to go ahead and look at this from the X stance, which is the stance right before this technique. This is actually at the end of the first half of the pattern and the end of the pattern. This is an awesome technique to finish a pattern with. So we're going to start going in to my left. So I'm in my X stance. I'm going to go ahead and set my hands. So I'm in my ridge hands. My hands are set. So all I have to do is step into that L stance. Move my hands up through. Flip them both down and over. Okay. So we are in the stance. Got my hands ready. Okay. As I step into my L stance, just roll them over. Okay. Pinkies are on the outside. So one more time. Okay. So I'm here. And if you have to, go ahead. Okay. Keep your hands here. Set your feet. And then do the technique. Okay. To the other side. Okay. I'm in my X. Got my feet. I'm going to go ahead and step. Doesn't feel quite right. Give me just a second. I want to make sure. There you go. Okay. So I'm here. I'm going to step and come through with the block. Okay. So I've got my weight here on my front leg. My back leg is up on the ball. Got my hands palm to palm. Got my ridge hand shapes. As I step into that L stance, okay, go up, flip them up and down. Okay, so we're going to go one more time. Nice and slow, just like that. Practice is stationary. Once you get the feel of it, then you can start with a step. Now we're going to go ahead and work this with a partner. I mean, this is a block, so we do block with this. You don't see it a lot. I'm going to go ahead and have our partner come out. Now this is the double Ridgehand block low. So he is going to have that target held fairly low. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start my L stance. Hands are here, okay? Thumbs are across, right here. Just bring them up and block. So Ridgehand side, Ridgehand part of my hand is doing the block. I'm here, up, and that snap at the end, that little snap of your hands, that flipping over, should give it a decent amount of power. Okay, palm to palm, keep them palm to palm, palm to palm. As you get to this position, roll them both over. Okay, so let's go one more time on this side. We're going to switch sides. So this one is going to come on the other side. Let me get back into my L. Get that hand position correct. Okay, palm to palm, palm to palm. Okay, flip them. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to take this a little bit on the slow side until I get to right here. As you get here, just kind of accelerate. Because if you're palm to palm here, all you got to do is flip both of them over and you're in the right position. Just one more time, big arc. Bring it through. Okay. One of our more challenging techniques that you'll see in the black belt level, double Ridgehand block. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at is going to be our formal kicking skill from their pattern, Po-Eun Hyung. It's going to be the low, the side kick low. I like this kick. This is a fun kick. Very self-defense oriented. This is a really good kick. I've worked with several different instructors that have taught this kick. So this is actually really one out of your pattern that you could use right directly as self-defense. Okay, we're going to start and we're going to stop in the one leg stance. Okay, so that's going to be the tricky part. Getting into the one leg stance, doing a kick with good power and control, and then coming back to your one leg stance. So let's go ahead, take a quick look at the one leg stance before we even begin the kicks. So I'm just going to start my hands on my hips. We're going to be kicking to your left. Okay, so I'm going to take my left leg, I'm in my horse stance, take my left leg and I'm going to go ahead and touch it to my right leg. Okay? Practice just that one leg stance, that wave kick that we do. Okay, so you get a good bend of this knee so you can kind of work on the balance a little bit. And you can go to the other side and just practice that one leg. It's not as easy as it looks. Once you think you have it down, then we start adding the kick to it. And then once you have the kick down, we start adding a target to it, and that actually makes your balance difficult also. Okay, so we're going to be kicking to your left, using your left leg. So we're going to start in the horse stance. I'm going to go and just keep my hands on my hips for right now. As you notice in the pattern, we're actually doing a distraction move here. So I'm like, hey, look here. I kick them low. Okay? We're going to start by keeping them right here on our hips, so we don't have to think too much about it. So one leg, then we're just going to do a side kick low. Then we're going to bring it back to that one leg stance. We're going to sit back down, the horse stance. Just like all of our side kicks, we'll make sure you're pulling your toes back, striking with your heel, okay? Just like you're breaking a board. On a person, if you're doing this in self-defense, knee, or even shin. Or, I mean, really it's the exact same strike, or your foot stomp. And you can go all the way down. It's the exact same technique. So let's go ahead and practice this a little bit with our hands on our hips, and then we're going to work some from that distract position. So we're going to be here, and we're going to chamber, side kick low, back to our chamber, and then set down. Try to keep it nice and slow. That'll work and help you with your balance. 1, 2, 3, and then down. Okay. Now let's go ahead, look at this like we'll see it in the pattern. So in the pattern, we're kicking this way. Our hands are actually coming up this way to distract our opponent. So we're here, kick, and then we're setting down. So here, kick, back down. Try to keep it nice and slow. Let's do that one more time. So distract position, one leg stance, side kick low, back to my one leg stance, sitting down to my horse stance. Let's go look at it the other direction. To your right. Start with our hands on our hips. Right leg's going to come in, touch, side kick, touch, and set down. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just one more time. 1, kick, and then back down. Distract. So I'm bringing my hands this way. I'm distracting. This helps a little bit with your balance once you get a feel for it. Kick. Okay. So here, kick, and back down. One more time. Nice and slow. How to keep the speed, start out the speed really, really slow so you get the balance down. Once the balance is down, then you can pick up a little more speed. If you go straight into power, you're just gonna lose your balance. Okay, once you feel relatively comfortable with that technique, we're gonna get a partner. We're gonna bring a hand shield. Okay? This is a technique low, so have your partner down on his knees. Now you see how Mr. Discoin is holding the shield. His elbow bends here, so when it kicks, it bends with his elbow. If he was to hold it the other way, and the kick would go against his elbow, and that would be painful, especially when you're adding some power. So like all of our kicking techniques, we're going to go ahead and start with a touch and push. This is going to be a little on the tricky side, because you really have to maintain your balance in order to touch and push. We're going to do it from the distract position. We're going to go all the way. Okay, so I'm in my horse. That means I'm at a pretty good distance. He's right outside my horse stance. So I'm going to come here, touch and push, here, and down. Pull your toes back, strike with your heel. Here, here, and down. Speed up when you lose your balance. So nice and slow, kick, and down. So one more time, touch and push, and down. Coming back to that one leg position also helps you sit back into a really good horse stance. Now once you've got this down and you're maintaining your balance pretty well, you can go a little bit more, add a little more power to it. Still trying to figure out how to do this as a board break. I'm still just thinking, because I think this would be a really cool board break. We might experiment. Okay, so I'm going to pick a target just like I was doing before. I like to put it right on the tee. And make sure your partner knows. Add some power. Want them to be ready. Of course, you have to get it on target. Okay. And one more time, we'll switch sides. Okay. Okay, start touching pushes. Okay, horse stance, move relatively close. Okay, so we're going to come here, touch and push, and set back down. Strike with your heel. Okay, slow down even a little bit more. Let's go one more time. Really just want to touch it, and then push. Okay, once you work the touch and pushes, let your partner know you're going to add some more power. And then come up. I don't think I might get hit in the side of the knee with that. And one more time. Excellent. Okay. Practice the kick. Practice the chamber. Really work on your balance. Start with the touch and pushes. Don't go straight into power. Touch and push. Once you can maintain your balance, then start adding some power. Okay, that is the side kick love. That's our formal kicking technique.